What is going on, YouTube? Welcome to the first episode of the RaiseHail report. Man, I got some good people on with me today. I got Reedy and Z.
What's up? How
So
you doing?
What's up, bro? How you? Appreciate you for
I'm
having
doing
us, man.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good, man. Thank y'all for coming for sure.
No question.
Uh so y'all been covering the Commanders for how long?
I want to say like four. What's been like
Yes.
about 4 years, maybe 4 to 5 years. We had
Okay,
a
okay.
we had kind of had a bumpy first couple of years. One of them years, and then I got sick, and we had to kind of take a break. But like the last 2 to 3, we've been going full fledged.
Okay.
Yeah,
I also y'all can go ahead and let them know what y'all YouTube channel is and everything, because I tune into y'all a lot and y'all always got great content. So go ahead and let the people know where they can find you at.
definitely appreciate it. We are at Reedy and Z, ReeDiezee, Reedy and Z on all platforms.
All right. So what got y'all into doing the Commanders content? Like, what was y'all motivating factor to get y'all to start y'all channel and everything?
Go ahead, Reedy.
I mean, so like we played football together in high school, and
Right.
we talk Commanders, Redskins, every day on the
Yeah.
phone. So it was just like, I have a journalism background. I have degrees in journalism and stuff like that. So that's what I do for a living. And he just pitched the idea to me one day. He was like, "Bro, like, why don't we just start a podcast?" Or because at the time he used to have this thing on Facebook called ZSPN, kind of a take on
Okay.
ESPN, but ZSPN, where he would, kind of give like, takes on, what the team did and stuff like that. And then we just decided to come together. Then we started, putting it together. And I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. Because I was kind of looking to do something anyway. And then why not do it with, somebody that I talk with every day, all day anyway. We sit on the phone for hours talking back and forth, going over this, going over that. So it's just like,
Yeah,
you might as well, you know what I'm saying, bring it to the internet, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
facts.
That's DSPN. I like that. That's kind of dope, bro. Y'all should bring that
Appreciate it.
on back.
I was
Sure.
telling Reedy we should do a little segment, ZSPN. I used to always start off the videos, banana, and then just
Yeah.
roll right into my takes at the games. Then, of course, when they made different moves and stuff like that. So it was definitely dope.
All right. So what would you say your favorite like Commanders, Redskins, Washington football team memory is? I'm gonna start. My favorite that I could think of was the game after Sean Taylor died and Clint Portis ran into the end zone. He pulled his shirt up, and I was
Mm-hmm.
right there I was right there at the end zone, and he had the shirt of Sean Taylor, and that's like the most vivid like memory I got. One of my favorite memories from
Yeah.
being a fan of this team. But what would you say some of y'all favorite memories would be?
You want to say, is it being at the game or just in general?
Just in general, it don't got to be at the game.
I would say my top favorite moment, Santana Moss against Dallas, them 2 touchdowns with Mark Brunell.
Yeah.
I remember the moment being in college, being in my room. I had a Cowboy fan in there, one of my man Anlo, and he was talking shit the whole time. And we went up 1 touchdown, boom. I'm like, uh-oh. Then he got the ball back, do another touchdown. He ended up running out the room and ran down the hall. He ain't even come back in the room. So it was dope though. Like we was talking trash the whole week. Yeah.
What's up, bro?
I mean, for me, live, I would say the No Brown Hail Murray,
Yeah, the
that
Hail
live,
Mary.
that was, we were standing in the stands just like,
Yeah, I was there too. That shit was crazy.
yeah, it just was crazy live. That was just a great moment, being a fan. But I would have to go back, if just of all time, I would say D Hall when he caught the 4 picks versus the Bears. That was a good moment for me. Because I'm a D Hall fan, and just seeing him work. So that was cool.
Yeah, I would say also another live moment too. Rob Jackson interception against Dallas.
Oh yeah.
That could go in the playoffs. It was a freezing cold game. I remember it was lit though. That game was tight.
Yeah. Just to add on, like I think this past year, like in total memories, like this might be the most memorable year
Facts.
of me being a fan, like ever. Like from all the games that we done watched, even the losses, like that Cowboys loss, that's gonna always stick with me.
Yeah.
But let's transition into some more recent news. So the news came out, the stadium is coming back, RFK 2.0. Is this something that y'all would think, what I'm saying, you looking forward to? Because I was reading something earlier today before we hopped on. It's looking like there may not be, tailgating, or if there is, it's not going to be as big as it was at the FedEx, and it is not going to be outside. It looked like it's going to be like in the garage area or something like that. So is that something y'all looking forward to? Like, if you had to weigh your pros and cons about it, do the pros outweigh the cons? Like, what y'all think?
I mean, for me, the pros outweigh all of the cons. I mean, the cons we'll just deal with if we can't tailgate. I mean, what can you not be excited for? You got a multi-billion-dollar building with the roof on it. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure it's going to be lit in there. The food is going to be banging. The drinks is going to be drinking. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be lit. We'll figure out the tailgate situation. I think it's going to be similar to how like Atlanta and some of these other spots where they kind of have like these tailgate parties or whatever, where you just come there where you can't necessarily have your car, but they just have it like set up where it's just, just eating and drinking and doing whatever it is that you do for that. So, I mean, I'm excited for, like, I've been waiting for a new stadium for I don't know how long. It's just like, it just opens up the possibilities to everything, possibly Super Bowls. We talking about WrestleManias. We talking about concerts. We talking about, you name it, they're probably going to have it there. So, Final Four. So this just ain't just football. You know what I'm saying? It's just everything across the board.
Right.
Yeah, and I pretty much second that. You know what I mean? I'm excited just for the, nostalgia of just being back in the city. You know what I mean? I remember as a kid going to a game at RFK and the stadium rocking and things like that. So just kind of just being back home. And I definitely believe the pros outweigh the cons. Like the only con I have in my head, at least right now, like you said, is the tailgating part. But hopefully we're one of the 8,000. Hopefully it don't be too expensive. But if not, like Reed said, we'll find other ways to be in the mix and let it work out. But most importantly, being in that building is gonna be crazy because it's like, when we on the road, we went to Philly Stadium, okay, but Atlanta Stadium was like sick to us, and top notch food. Like I think we was in the club level for the low, all you can eat, and it was a different experience. So to be able to have that at home is gonna be phenomenal.
Yeah, definitely, bro. Like I gotta figure out a way to, get in there when the first game, they got the first game. I don't know, them ticket prices gonna be crazy, but I gotta figure something out. Because even if it's like, even if I can't get in, I just gotta be in the vicinity of it.
Yeah,
I already know it's about to be live out there. But yeah, when they were talking about it, what was that, like Monday? They had the whole press conference. And they released like the pitch, like the picture looked crazy. Like it's gonna be on the thumbnail for the video, but the picture looked crazy. Like the whole glass roof. I heard people talking about like they might have wanted it retractable. I'm cool with it just being a dome. Like it don't have to open up. Like, cause I already know our quarterback, he's from California, so he not, I don't want to put him in no type cold weather. We don't gotta be, cold. We just throw him out there and it's, ask them what the temperature gonna be. What you wanted today, JD5? So that's what I'm thinking about. But yeah, man, and I know we got like, I think it's like one more step we got to get past with the votes and everything.
DC council,
yeah, the DC council. We got to get past that. But it's looking up. Like everybody, is looking like we like 90%, 95% there. So. And like you said, Reedy, like it's gonna do a lot for the area. Like Olympics, like you said, NCAA, all types of stuff gonna come to that stadium. So it's not just going to be for the Commanders. It's going to bring in tourists, all types of stuff, all types of money for the city. So, and shout out to our owner, man, because he put in what three what was it 2 billion
2.7 billion.
Yeah,
2.7 billion. Like that's unheard of. Like the percentage wise is way skewed to where the owner of the team is putting up most of the money. Like I was looking at the numbers, like no other stadiums in NFL ever do that.
Yeah.
They don't ever do that. So
that was one of the things I was saying yesterday on our show about possibly getting the votes through the DC Council. Like this is a deal better for the city. All the city's really paying for is infrastructure, parking garages, and beautifying around it, and whatever they're going to add to those to over there at RFK, the apartments and all of that stuff like that. So like the stadium portion of it, he's paying for it. So I get it. That the politicians want to be politicians and they want to block things and do this and do that, but you ain't getting no deal better than this.
Yeah.
Right. And it's always going to be somebody or a group of people that's going to oppose it, going to have opposition to it. And it's never going to be like 100% people always going to be, want something. So I agree with you. Like this the best it's going to get. And like you said, I own it putting up all the money. So I'm all the way for it for sure. Yeah, man. So let's move on to the draft, man, because we only had 5 picks this year. We only had 5 picks, and it looks like AP and Lance Newmark, they made the best out of it. How y'all feel about the picks we brought in? And I know we didn't touch on the defensive end, which is like our biggest need right now. But how y'all feel about the picks we brought in, and what can you expect from this rookie class?
For me, I think that I feel good about it. Actually, going into the draft, my mindset was that we need to trade back. We need to get more picks.
Facts.
Supplement what we lost in those trades. And then, we set there day one, we get to 29, and just in my head, Will Johnson on the board. Reedy was definitely feed me, man. We need to get Will Johnson. In my mind, I'm like, man, we need to get Mike Green, or we can go either or. Boom, Josh Connolly Jr. I'm like, what the hell? Immediately, like the first moment. But then like a second later, I just snapped out of it like, well, you got to protect that asset. You know what I mean? You got to combat. We complained NFC Championship, our offensive line was getting manhandled. Even though the offense moved the ball at times, but we definitely needed more power, some better upgrade on the offensive line. So I was comfortable with that. With Tunsil now, it makes it stronger. You can move Coleman inside potentially. So it just gives us that versatility. So I immediately, took that and was like, all right, cool. I'm cool with that. When we got to the second round, Mike Green went like 2-3 picks before that. So I'm still anticipating like, all right, Mike Green, boom. Trey Amos. Like, oh shit, a corner. Okay, well, who is this? And I get to seeing athletic speed, rangy. Like, all right, cool. All right, well, we could have used the extra corner. I can live with that. And once AP came out and said basically that, with Connolly, he was a guy that they wasn't gonna pass up on. He was the top of their board for right there, so that was fine. And then he said, well, Amos, he would have drafted him in the first round had Connolly not been there. And then that, the DNs they were looking at went before they picked. So I can live with those decisions. So I'm like, okay, I'm good through that. And then, I let Brady talk about the next few picks. I didn't want to talk about all of them.
I mean, I kind of second what you're saying.
Okay.
Kind of was my same thoughts during the process. So, I was, I kind of jokingly said last week that we were going to take an offensive tackle, but I didn't necessarily believe it was going to happen. Then when it happened, I was just like, what? Like, what are we doing? And then it kind of sunk in like maybe 5 to 10 minutes later. And I kind of like started looking at the highlights because the first thing that came to mind was like, is this the same Connolly that got punished by Mike Green? But then I had to remember to myself, that's one rep. People get punished every day. You know what I'm saying? It's football. It happens. You know what I'm saying? Been there, done that. So, you know, once I started like looking up like how he graded out on all these metrics and things of that nature, I was like, well, damn, he's a solid pickup, you know, 2-year starter. Didn't really give up too much. And I just started thinking about the positive, you know, the different ways that we can use him and the versatility that he brings, as well as how the rest of the offensive line could come together and we can move pieces around to be like one of considerably a top 5 unit in the league. So that just made me excited. So the next day when we picked that 2, I was excited about the tackle pick. And then when I seen Amos, I remembered his name from when he was at Alabama, but I couldn't put my finger on it. And then once I went back and I looked at him, I was like, okay, we cooking. And then I didn't really know too much about, you know, the linebacker that we took. But, you know, his highlight seems like, you know, I remember him from the combine, though, but I didn't really know too much about his play. And then, you know, finally we took the running back. That's a Z guy. Z stabbed him. He said that's his guy. He reminds me of Gibby a little bit. And I think that's probably why Z likes him so much, because he kind of runs like Gibby to me. In a way, but I thought it was, a solid draft. I mean, no real big names or whatever, but you know, based off of those metrics and those RAS scores and all of that stuff like that, you know, they did pretty good. We were at the top of the charts when it relates to that. So, you know, a lot of people that know more football than I know football are saying like it was really solid. You know, Mel Kiper Jr. to name one, John Gruden, to listen to him today talk about it. So. I'm here for it. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, Z, we always talk about we're waiting for the corresponding move since we didn't take an edge. I feel like, you know, on that, you know, free agent market, there's some names out there that possibly guys that we could possibly bring in here. So I'm excited to see if we do that.
Yeah, and I think with the Jalen Lane thing, a guy that we, you know, the receiver, guy that don't really know too much about. I just like to see that he was fast. And one of the things that, you know, stood out during this draft process is that we went for speed. You know, him with being a 4.3 guy. I think Amos ran like a 4.3. Madrano, fastest linebacker in the draft. Ja'Cory ran like a 4.45. Even the tackle, you know what I mean, he fast with his feet, athletic. Yeah. You know, they showed the video where he was laying down flat and jumped up and, you know, went back in his pass protections. And I'm like, they went for speed, and that's something that we lack overall for a team. So I was just happy with that. But yeah, Ja'Cory is definitely my sleeper of the draft, and I think it was the sneakiest pick. And I think he actually is going to contribute. That's my prediction. You know, going forward, I like Reedy said, Gibby was definitely one of my guys, and I felt like, you know, he never really got a clear opportunity other than that 1 year, which he had a breakout year. But, you know, after that, I mean, I know he had the fumbling problem. So it kind of, you know, hindered his progression and, you know, fell out of the likes of the coaches. And then we got beat robbed. But, you know, I think Ja'Cory definitely mimics Gibby's running style. A lot of people in the comments saying he ain't that, he don't look fast, he ain't got no breakaway speed. And I beg to differ. He was outrunning people and he was giving them moves. So that's something we lacked across the board. So I think that he's going to contribute a whole lot. And he said he a dog, so we're going to see.
Yeah, he was real. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I'll go after you.
I was saying, to me, he looked like he was real shifty in traffic. But I was a guy that said that on my first watch, he didn't seem like he was separating that much. But then when I went back and looked at it, he kind of was running fast. But, you know, it's kind of subjective because there are other guys in the secondary that's fast too. So, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think my mind was set on, like, I wanted a guy. I think I was looking at the time, it was a 4.4, and I was like, I wanted a 4.2, 4.3 guy. So I think that's when I originally said what I said. I was coming from that, you know, that light. But I do think he's going to be a solid pickup for us. But I don't know, given, you know, the structure of our running back room now, like how all this is going to work out. You know what I mean? So, like, who are you keeping? Who's going to the practice squad? Who's getting cut? You know what I mean? So it's real interesting. It's competition at all levels. I'm here for it.
the thing I would say take the most from this draft, I say like all 5 of these guys, they have a great opportunity to come in and make an immediate impact. Like even Kane Madrano, he probably not going to start on defense, but he could be a special teams demon for us. Fast,
Yeah,
he could do a lot for us on special teams. You got Bill, he gonna come in, right? He's a little bit different from any of the other running backs that we got. Well, really a lot of different, if you ask me. So he got that, and then we got Jalen Lane, fast, speedy guy, punt return. Like all these guys is gonna come in and do their role and make an immediate impact. And that's what I appreciate the most from the whole staff is that we didn't reach on nobody. We assessed the board, and when it came to us, we looked at our board that we had. It was like, all right, look, we're gonna take the best player that's right here, and we're gonna keep it pushing. And it didn't fall that we didn't get the defensive end that we wanted, but at least we didn't reach for like a third round player in the second round or a fourth round player in the second round, or a third round player in the first round. We didn't try to make it make sense, so
yeah.
And that's a little bit new for me, coming from the Ron Rivera era and stuff like that, and all that type of stuff. So I give it. Go ahead.
You give it. Well, now I was gonna say, and Peters talked about not forcing a trade. You know what I mean? We're just not gonna trade the trade. He said they had the offers on the board at 2 with this. I mean, with the second round, but he didn't want to trade back and miss out on Amos because that was the guy they was comfortable with taking in the first round. And what I mean, after that second round pick, the offers after that, you probably pushing back into the next draft, and it wasn't really, you're losing leverage on the trade offers, and it didn't really make sense. So.
Right.
He, like you said, didn't want to force any picks, and he didn't want to force any trades. So I can respect the mindset and the strategy for this draft.
Yeah, but also to caveat on that, they're also saying like Amos might be the steal of the draft because from everywhere I've seen, like outsourced sources, not Commanders, people, but everybody is saying like he should have been a first round pick, and to get him at 61, that kind of could be similar to how we got the defensive tackle last year,
Johnny
Newton. But nobody's really saying this, but I think we actually did some work with the undrafted free agents as well, because there are a couple of receivers that I seen the highlights and I was like, oh wow, okay, like this is like there's some competition in that receiver room. They brought in some guys that can flat out hoop. So we might got some, diamonds in the rough as it relates to undrafted free agents as well.
Dan Quinn preached competition, so that's what it seemed like they doing. They getting everybody gonna be better going into next season. So we're gonna see how that unfold. But so I got one last question. I'm gonna let y'all get up out of it because I know y'all got other things to get to. But going into next season, right? I know the defensive end is still a question. Outside of defensive end, because we kind of just talked about that, but outside of that, what would you say would be the more position you are most concerned with outside of defensive end, like going into next season? Like what position might you be like, I don't know how this gonna be compared to last year, or what I'm saying, like it's up in the air kind of.
I would say tight end behind Ertz.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's Vincent not going to step up. They gave Bates a deal, and I'm hearing it was a nice little piece of change. I feel like it still didn't really get reported, but they gave him a 3-year deal. So it's like, Bates ain't really known to be a receiving guy. He's more of a blocker. So the big question mark, is tight end.
Yeah, for me, I think that's the number one question mark for me is tight end. I feel like even what we did in the draft, getting in the 7th round, I feel like we kind of, I'm not going to say that we answered the call at running back that we were, but I think it kind of fills in the gap that we were looking for a little bit. Kind of, I don't want to say it's a placeholder, but I think we just got to wait and see how that pans out. But if it wasn't other than tight end, I would probably say I'm curious to see like what's going to happen with our depth after receiver 2, like how all of that fills in. So that could be not necessarily a concern, but just how does it play out? Does it play out how we think it's going to play out, or is it just somebody come out of left field and just be, dominant, because obviously you got Terry and Debo as your 1 and 2, and then it's just open season after that. Like, what is Noah Brown going to do? Is Gallup going to come in here and do something, or is one of these undrafted free agents going to come in, or somebody that was already on the roster, a Kaz Allen or something? I mean, I don't know.
Right.
I'm just speculating. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Those are good. Like the tight end, when the receiver core, like those is like one of my past videos, I was talking about the wide receiver core. Like the fact that we picked up Jalen Lane, I thought the most thing we needed was speed. It was either speed, and then second, I said it was size. I wanted somebody with size, but I said speed first because even though we know Terry McLaurin has is fast, but I feel like with the type of offense that we run and the different looks that we do with a lot of the screen passes, we need somebody that can make one cut and go, like just take it to the house. And I think with Jaden Lane, like he might not see the offense a lot, but when he come in, he either gonna be a decoy or he gonna get the ball, or he could block too. So I see why you said that. Another position that I'm kind of like up in the air about, if we gonna take a step back, is our safeties. I know we brought in Will Harris, and his tape looks solid too, but now he's coming in, we relying on him like heavy. Like he's looking like he's gonna be our starting free safety. Strong safety. And Quan Martin, it just came out a few days ago. He had surgery. I can't remember what he had surgery on, but he pretty much played the whole season like that, and then he had surgery. So that's something that I'm like, okay, we improved our cornerback, we improved our defensive line in terms of stopping the run. Now what our safety is gonna look like, you know what I'm saying? So I think overall though, defense and offense, overall we did get better. We did get better in a lot of different ways. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that.
I feel like they brought in I feel like the linebackers are going to kind of play the coming similar to that Buffalo nickel, that down in the box kind of Steve type strong safety position. And then one of those linebackers that we had, a Jordan McGee or somebody like that, or what's the other one's name?
Dominique Hampton.
Dominique Hampton or something, like might fill in that role inside the box or whatever. And then you keep Quan up top. I think Quan had a shoulder injury, if I'm not mistaken, because he used to wear that brace on it last year. But like you said, I do agree with you on that. I was kind of concerned with, the middle of the field safety and the range. I was thinking that we should maybe go out and try to bring in one of these free agents that are still out there, Simmons or somebody else that's out there, just to kind of show that up, to give us a little bit more depth. I think Quan was solid last year, so I guess you got to give him the opportunity to, kind of, it's his job to lose, I guess, in a sense.
Is Justin Simmons? I wonder how much money he asking for, because why nobody pick him up?
It was the same way last year, so I don't know.
Yeah, he didn't get picked up after the draft, like right before camp last year. I mean, he's publicly said he would come here, so I definitely thought that would hold some weight, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not saying he may have lost a step or so, but from what I've seen he didn't look like he's a slouch to me, like where he can't get a 1-year deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He could definitely come here and make some noise, if not make the other guys better, for sure. But yeah, man, that's really all I got for y'all, man. I appreciate y'all, for coming through and chopping it up with me. Y'all always got great insight. I always watch our lives. Y'all always talk about some real stuff. So before we wrap up, go ahead and let the people know again where they can find your content.
So you can check us out at Radiant Z on all platforms: Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube. Like, share, subscribe. Check us out. Like we always say, man, we just two guys that love the game, love this team. And we just trying to take us to a new level. So tap in with us. And Zell, definitely appreciate you having us on.
Yeah, no question.
Much love, and make sure y'all, get out there, like, share, subscribe, sub my man up too. We all for collaboration. So we would love to be back on, and we'd love to have you on our show as well.
Yeah, no question. But just know we're gonna keep it 100. We're gonna keep it a buck. We ain't gonna sugarcoat it. We're gonna call it like we said. You know what I'm saying? Good, bad, and indifferent. Like we always say, it's just a friendly debate. You know what I'm saying? My opinion ain't the end all be all, but I'm gonna call it like I said. If I feel like we need to be doing more as an organization, I'm gonna say it. You know, if I feel like the players ain't cutting it, I'm gonna say it. So, you know, we ain't no homers over here, and we just gonna talk about the good. We're gonna talk about the good and the bad.
Facts.
Yes, sir. As you should. As you should. All right, man. I am RaiseHail, and this has been the RaiseHail Report. We will catch y'all next time, man. Peace out.
Peace.